this guitar lesson, we're going to work on our country and bluegrass cross-picking, and we're going to do that by learning the traditional song called Home Sweet Home. Just heard a sample of it. This song has great melody, really good one to use for cross-picking, and you'll hear it all the time at bluegrass jams and stuff like that. So anyways, let's go ahead and get to it. We'll pull up tablature on the screen, work through each line of this arrangement just like we usually do. And as we do that, I'm going to give you all some really good tips for country and bluegrass cross-picking. Here is the main cross-picking pattern we're going to use today. You got a quick example on the screen over the C major chord. So there's one measure of it, and you probably saw there with the right hand, I like doing alternate picking. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So let's just repeat that a few times. Down, up, 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 down, up. Couple other quick things to think about when you're using this type of cross-picking pattern. The first one is the syncopated rhythm. You know, right there I was playing it with a pretty straight rhythm. Sounds kind of robotic, you know. And these are all eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. But what you can do to give it a little more kind of country and bluegrass twang is you can add a little syncopation to the cross-picking. And that just means you're going to kind of make the notes sound like horse hooves galloping, you know. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 let's try it over a G major chord. And you saw there over the G major, it's real easy. You basically don't hold anything down with your left hand. And it's the same exact pattern. Back to the C. Let's do it over the F major. C major 7. See how useful this is. You can use it just as a straight replacement for your strumming when you're playing rhythm guitar, or you can build it into your solo breaks and stuff like that as a supplement for playing different licks. So awesome stuff, this cross-picking. Other thing that I wanted to mention, and then we'll get into learning this arrangement. The other thing is when you're emphasizing certain notes, you know, there's different ways to do this. I like to, a lot of times when I'm doing this type of cross-picking pattern, this forward roll, is what this pattern would be called, forward roll. There's reverse roll also. We'll play some of those later. But when I'm doing this pattern, I like to emphasize the bass note. So over the C major chord, you know, we're using these 3 strings. So I'm going to call the bass note that 4th string. And when I do this cross-picking pattern, I like to add a little bit more loud, you know, a little more weight to the pick on that bass note string, a little more volume. So every time I hit that string, I'm going to make it a little louder than the other strings there. I don't know if you can hear it. I'll try to exaggerate it. Go to the G major. So anyways, there's a few things to think about right there as you're working through this arrangement. A few tips for cross picking. So let's pull up the first line of this Home Sweet Home melody and start working through this thing. Very first measure is a pickup measure that's going to lead us into the second measure. And the second measure, that's where this main chord progression is actually going to start. So for the pickup measure, with the left hand, I like to play the C/G chord. And here's the pickup measure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Pick, pick, pick. And for that third pick, you saw I just lifted up my left middle finger. Lift up the middle, and then put your middle back down. For the second measure, when we start the cross picking over the C major chord. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Pick, 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 cross picking. So that's the pattern we just went over there. Let me just play through the first line one time, you can hear it, and then I'll break a few more things down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, we basically got the pickup measure, we got that second measure already. It's the cross picking over the C major chord. Then in the third measure, we are going to switch to an F major chord in an interesting way like this. So it's not too bad if you really think about it. So previously in the measure 2, we had that C major chord shape. Leave that there. And then the third measure, you just hammer on into your left ring finger. So pick, hammer, pick, pick, just like that. And then right after that, lift up your middle to finish that measure off. So measure 3. From the beginning. And then from there, we got measure 4, which is measure 4 is over the C major chord. Start out measure 4, I've got my left pointer held only, and I do pick, strum, strum, and then pick, left ring finger, walking it down. And then measure 5 is that same cross picking pattern over the C major chord. And one other thing to note, a lot of times when I'm doing this 3-string cross picking pattern over the C major,